Okay, Mike, so here we are at the teaching area. Nice view. I can see some of the other holes off to the side there.
Right.
But when you have a student and you're about to give a lesson, what's the process?
You know, typically before we get going and hitting any golf balls, I do a lot of Q&A with the students to find out a little bit about their history in the game of golf. How long they've been playing, have they ever had any lessons before, are they a brand new beginner? I try to get an idea of what I'm working with. Usually when somebody's just getting into the game, I have a good, already preset idea what we need to work on, but somebody that's been playing, I might ask them what their tendencies are of their mishit shots, what are their goals, what do they want to work on. Some people like to work on short game more than long game. Some people like to work on their long game a little bit more than short game. But so I kind of get an idea of where the lesson needs to head, and then we kind of work our way into it.
Okay. Well, yeah, shoot away. What questions do you have? I'll be your pupil here today.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about your game, how long you've been playing golf. You're here today to learn to hit a driver. Obviously there's something going on. Tell me what's going on and what your struggles are with it, and see if we can't help you.
Okay. Well, I think, I have an inconsistent golf game. Maybe lots of golfers will say that.
Yeah.
But I played when I was younger. Maybe around 10, 12 years old. Growing up with my grandparents, I lived with them for a little while. My grandma was a really good golfer, so I never had official lessons, but she taught me, what to do, what not to do. And then I really didn't start playing golf until, I took a long layoff and then got back into golf here in the last 5 years or so.
Yeah.
So kind of like riding a bike, but not quite as easy as riding a bike. Yeah. So I'm hopping back on the bike now. Yeah. So I tend to push my irons or drivers a little fade to the right.
Okay.
So just want to try and straighten that out.
Okay. I think, as we go through this process, one of the most important things for me with a lesson, some people come with lessons and just stand there and do what I do, and they just hit it and they don't have any feedback. I like a lot of feedback from my students, because when you're hitting a mishit shot, I want you to understand why, so that after we spend an hour together, when you leave here today, you have an understanding when you hit something wrong or mishit, what
I can correct it as I play.
Yeah, if you go over
myself.
to a local driving range or something and you're going to work on your game, you now have an idea what you need to do to change when you're on your own and away from me. Okay,
so definitely let's see if we can try and get my my drive to go straight.
Okay, I know you're here to work on your driver, and we'll get into that, but what I'd like you to do is just warm up with a couple iron shots, because a lot of people do slice the driver more than they would an iron because of the loft of the club. But your swing is your swing, so I kind of want to see what happens with your iron, and then we'll transfer right into the driver. But we just need to watch a few swings so we can see what's going on with the golf ball.
Any specific iron that I should grab?
No, you can grab 7 iron, 6 iron, somewhere right in that range would be fine to have.
7 iron.
7 irons. Oh, look at that. We kind of knew what to grab right away. Yeah, so all I want you to do is do what you normally do. Just as if you're out playing or at a driving range, and let me just watch you hit a few shots. A lot of times my lessons, after I go through a Q&A, I just watch somebody hit 3 or 4 balls, 5 balls, I don't say a word.
Yep.
And I'm gathering my thoughts, I'm looking at how you're gripping, how you're standing, and then we try to make some adjustments.
Okay.
Okay?
Oh, sounds good. I'll just hit a few here, and you can just judge me as I
there you go.
Make some mishits.
Not too bad. That was a pretty good shot. Would that be a better than average shot for you on a normal?
Maybe a little better. The thing is, can I do that every time?
Right.
I would go back to being inconsistent, and I'm sure lots of golfers are like that. Is it? Do they get lazy? Do I lose focus? I don't know.
Well, here's the deal. The thing about golf is we're all going to have mishit shots, including myself. The biggest key is if we're hitting big hooks or slices, is to hone them in. Because we're going to miss greens, we're going to have mishit shots, but we just don't want to be off course so far. So if we can kind of minimize that curve or straighten things out, that's what our goal is.
Okay. So a couple more here.
You bet. Okay, not too bad. Now, one question I'd like, tell me when you're ready to hit a golf shot, right? And just say, okay, Mike, I'm ready to go.
Okay, Mike, I'm ready to go.
So we're gonna get a full swing. Where do you have most of your weight, on your front foot or your back foot?
Right now, I think I'm kind of even, but...
Kind of even? Okay,
Yeah.
One of the things we'd like to see in our golf swing, go ahead and take a grip for me and take your stance,
Yep.
is to create a little bit of tilt in our upper body.
Yep.
That evens our weight out. This brings the left shoulder up in the air and the right shoulder. Especially when we get into the driver, this is really, really important. Okay, so
Okay.
let's hit a couple shots and see what happens. Okay, a little low, but we did have a little bit of a draw to it, didn't we? Now, something as subtle as taking your
little-
that's too much.
Okay.
Okay, now what I'd like you to do is create a little bit more athletic setup for me. In other words, pretend you're in a position where you're, like say, a tennis player getting the ball served to you. You wouldn't be squatting, you'd be more in a athletic setup.
Kind of like this.
Yeah,
Okay.
there you go, and you got a little bit of room. There we go.
And then
Now
just
I'd like
tip
just a
the-
little tilt in the shoulders.
Little tilt.
You bet. Okay. Now we can see that ball went to the right, which you said was your problem.
Yep, that's where it tends to go when I...
Right,
If
so
I missed right.
we missed right. All right, so go ahead and grip the club. As we know, if it's going right, you're coming in and the club face is open.
Yep.
So what do we got to do to get this club face shut? So what I'd like you to do is think about rolling the club through impact. Look at your wrist. Pretend we're hitting topspin on a shot. And I want you to try and hit a couple shots where you're really exaggerating that feel
Okay.
for me. And if we hit a big hook, great. We just want to see what it takes to stop slicing the ball. There you go. See,
pretty
that's
straight.
that's pretty straight, and the wind is blowing that way.
The wind's blowing hard today.
And it
so
still held its line, so that means pretty
it's
good.
coming back a
Yeah.
little bit, and then...
Yeah, pretty good job. Let's hit one more, and then we'll get into your driver.
Okay. See if we can put it all together here.
There you go.
There's that right to left you mentioned, the draw.
Yeah, we're working on draw. A little bit of a pull. That's because you're creating
Yeah.
a motion that you normally don't do.
Yeah, I never hit it left, so that was new for me.
Yeah, so I always use the analogy, if you're a big slicer and you do that, and then I can get you to hit a big hook, within an hour's time, I bet you we'll find the middle.
The middle ground,
The
yep.
middle ground, and that's what our goal is.